we don't know what happened in the traffic stop with Philando Castile prior to her starting the recording. Now, being a concealed carry permit holder and carrying everywhere, one of the first things that you are taught when you go through your concealed carry class is how to handle an office a situation with an officer. Number one, keep your hands visible. Let the officer know you are a concealed carry permit holder, and then ask the officer how they want to proceed. Whether or not those steps were taken, we don't know. Again, I do think in both situations they were clear executions, but there may be mitigating circumstances in the case of the traffic stop with Philando Castile. One other thing that I would like to point out, and this has been bugging me. Why was the officer approaching the passenger side?
Okay. And it makes me sad to say this. I don't want to say that that's unusual. And just take it from somebody who's been pulled over a lot. And keep in mind, I don't say a lot because I'm black and I'm victimized and this, that, and the other. I'm saying this because I got my driver's license when I was 18. I was a fucking dumbass, okay? So quite a few years of that, you have to balance it. You have to sit back and, I've been pulled over just as many times for what I would have considered to have been some bullshit or a personalized, victimization of me. I've had those incidents. It is not indicative of my normal experience being pulled over. That being said, usually when cops execute a stop, especially if they have the backup or have a ride-along and there are multiple occupants in the car, then usually a backup officer will, at the very least, stand usually at the right rear corner of the vehicle.
That is true.
And they'll hang out back there while either the driver, and then also the cop has the prerogative depending on the stop space, because remember, there are highways that don't have shoulders,
True.
So depending on the stop space, the primary officer, the one making initial contact, with the civilian, may choose to approach from the passenger side, and then in this case, the second cop will cover, usually from a center position, back from the car. And that leads to the point that I'm making. Yes, there were two officers involved in the one shooting. Okay, there were two officers involved there. But truth be told, I think that we're in a position now where there needs to be a better check and balance system, a better system of basically something that just says, hey, we're watching. Because, see, the thing is, we're in the age of the surveillance camera, the camera phone, the selfie stick. It is a great tool. It is a great asset. It has also, unfortunately, been the media's greatest weapon in misinformation. And it is also while it can be one of the most pure sources by which we can derive the truth from an incident, it, too, can also be the poison fruit.
Yes.
And we as citizens, as well as those that have these videos, because the people that have these videos, a lot of them are released very, very irresponsibly. And I believe that also goes toward the inflammatory nature of how these videos are perceived by the public. If I just turned on YouTube one day and there was a video of a black man being shot by a police officer, and I have zero context of anything prior to that moment, fuck yeah, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be pissed off not just as a black man, but just as a human fucking being. Like, for real, people that are supposed to protect us are killing us. This is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Okay? However, me seeing that video and that video only, that's the poison fruit. And even if it is the truth, you still have to be able to get the truth around that truth, everything that led up to that point and everything that will happen subsequent. Because this, like so many other racially charged incidents, have followed the same pattern. Okay? minority is injured or killed, okay, then there's some sort of investigation. Then a lot of politicians and civil rights infuriators, not leaders, civil rights infuriators jump in, and then they tell their 2 cents, and then they get everyone fired up. And then there's a protest, and then this is where it kind of skews one or two ways. Either there's a protest and it's really, really peaceful, or there's a protest and it goes really, really fucking bad and it backfires. But then after that, then there's some record released, basically while not saying it, still comes out and says, well, they did this like way back where they stole a stick of beef jerky like when they were 6 and we feared for life and we killed them, or some shit like that.
Right.
And from there, it's just a smear after smear after smear between citizens, between friends and loved ones of the lost, between law enforcement, between those that are, tasked with managing law enforcement. There's a reason that I edited that the way I did. I didn't want it to be clear and every word heard, because at some points it just turns into fucking noise.
It does.
And that's exactly why I did it. It turns into noise, and it bombards you all at once. There's another sound that can bombard you all at once and invoke a feeling like you just want to erupt and just start thrashing. It's called fucking death metal. Okay? And I love death metal. You know why? Because it makes me get up and it invokes an emotion within me. I want to get up, I want to clean the house and punch things. Okay? And that's what it does. And all of this that we are being hit with, being bombarded with, this is the same phenomenon. We're no longer even listening to what's being said. We're picking out the keywords. We're picking out the sound bites. We're fucking ourselves. We don't pursue the truth anymore. At least most of us don't. We're
looking for our little piece.
We're
of
happy.
The action.
We're happy to be pissed.
Yes.
That's what it is. We're happy to be pissed. I feel strongly on this. I've been, since you told me, yeah, I'd like to discuss this. I've been on it, and I've avoided stating how I felt on social media because I knew, having so many friends of varied backgrounds and whatnot, that things were gonna get heated.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's so heated to the point that I made a post basically saying, hey, man, this sucks, and I no longer wanted to be heated. And then that shit got heated.
Of course it did.
And...
You know what I ended up posting?
What?
An old school song. We Are the World.
You know what? Is as cheesy and as corny as most would make that sound right now, I think it's about time for a motherfucking remix.
Yes.
Okay? Because at this point, we've got nothing. This goes beyond my don't be shitty mantra.
Yeah.
Just be. Just for a moment, try not to be part of some divisive mechanism that makes you different than me. For just a moment, let's pretend we're breathing the same air. Let's pretend that we can die from the same shit. Let's pretend we can help each other if one of us has a problem. Let's see if that fucking works. Because the hate thing, the gun thing, the division thing, we've had thousands of years with that with very little success.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. It's called insanity.
You mean doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
And there it is.
Yeah. And I've got friends both on Facebook and and I'm going to say in real life. Because let's face it, almost all of us have some Facebook-only friends, people that we kind of picked up along the way.
Yeah.
And I've got people who are on all different sides, people who are very, very left-wing, people who are very, very right-wing, and then all along the political spectrum. I've got white friends, I've got black friends, I've got Asian friends, I've got Hispanic friends, I've got every kind of color, variety, male, female, whatever the case may be. They do all sorts of different blue-collar work, white-collar work, and whatever other kind of collar work out there.
Right.
And so I see a lot of different shit. And most of the time, I see shit that just kind of makes me shake my head because because people are trying to find their way to spin a certain topic to be about how this affects them, and not just the fact that this is shit that's happening.
Yeah.
They're trying to turn it into something else. It's like when a shooting happens, not even involving the police, and it turns into gun control. You know, everybody tries to spin it the way they want it to.
Yes.
To make it something that they feel about. There are people dying. That's just the biggest part of it to me. There are people just fucking dying at the hands of other human beings. Yeah. Just because the color of our skin may be different, the way we speak is different, the God that we do or don't worship is different, doesn't change the fact that we're all the same thing. We all got hearts, we all got lungs, we got kidneys, we got blood. All looks the same on the inside.
Turn off the lights.
Right.
Yeah.
Turn off the lights and have a discussion.
Turn off the lights.
Yeah. So, everybody out there, you know, I implore you, forgive the song lyric, but put a little love in your heart. Because there's a lot of fucking hate out there. There's a lot of it.
Far too much.
We got to stop this. We must stop killing each other. And I'm talking police. I'm talking people on the streets. We must stop killing each other. A life is a precious, precious thing. Just look at the kids who are in like St. Jude's Hospital, who are suffering from cancer, who may not make it to 10 years old.
Right.
You know, and then we got people with guns going, that motherfucker, he looked at my girlfriend wrong.
Right.
I'm going to kill him. Really? Everybody just needs to slow their roll, chill the fuck out, and realize that we are all human beings, and our lives are just as valuable as yours.
Right. Hate on any level is an unhealthy thing. It'll tear you up inside.
Yeah.
No matter how powerful it can make a person feel now, it's artificial. Right. It's a taught thing. It's not natural. You know, that's we as human beings have a natural instinct to survive. We have a natural instinct to bind together, to mate, to create families, to spend too much on Starbucks. Those are things that come natural to us. Okay, hate. That is a regimented fucking lesson plan.
Right.
And it is sustained by narrow-minded information and
narrow-minded individuals
and professors of the ignorant.
Yeah. I like that. I'm going to use that phrase, professors of the ignorant.
Yes. Hate is taught by the professors of the ignorant.
That is very, very true. So, we got a minute left.
We've got a minute.
I think we'll throw out one more thing, because we actually have to end on time today for once.
Okay. I was going to give the truncated sports report. In other news, people played sports, made lots and lots of stupid money over it. People will be changing teams. Teams will be going to different cities. We'll catch you up next week.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'll end on one more thing before we hit the Urban Dictionary word of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, just if you feel yourself getting angry, just like shut your mouth, shut your ears, go to a quiet place, and just breathe for 30 seconds without thinking anything or saying anything.
Right.
Don't waste the energy.
That's perfect. Don't waste the energy.
Don't chance going to prison.
It's not worth
it. Or losing your fucking life over some conflict that I guarantee you
in 2 years isn't going to matter.
Right. Won't
in 2 minutes isn't going to matter.
Won't mean shit.
Right.
If you can't, let's try this another way. If you can't think of a worthy reason for you to just up and die, assume that the guy next to you has the same fucking reason.
Perfect.
How about that? If you can't find any reason to just, well, you know what, I'm done. I'm good. I'm just going to clock out. If you can't find that reason within yourself, assume the person next to you hasn't found it either. Assume they're the same way.
Thank you, Freeze.
You know, assume they'd like to go home and go to bed tonight the same way you do.
All right.
Urban Dictionary Word of the Week.
It's time for the Urban Dictionary Word of the Week.
And the word is...
man nod.
Man nod. Okay.
Yes.
I guess Crystal could see it. Okay.
A nod of the head similar to a nod of acknowledgement.
She did it.
But can be used between any two men, or I guess women.
Thank you.
Not
don't be sexist.
Don't be shitty or sexist. Okay.
Don't be sexist.
Can be used between any two men, not just friends.
You know what? That's true.
Because there is a nod of acknowledgement with friends,
yeah.
But there's really like a man nod where you're just walking down.